Morning, yes, it is that day of the week again. It is my late shift at work, so it's time to go out for an early run, and it is freezing. I don't think I've ever run in a hoodie before, but I'm actually going to put a coat over this as well because I'm that cold. Now, normally on this day, I do a layering video where I do a weird thing, so I might rub Marmite or hair gels, all these sort of weird things I've been rubbing on my arm over the last few years, bananas, matcha powder, strange things. Today, though, I thought just because I'm going to be so wrapped up, I'm going to have so many layers on, I do something a little bit different. And something in my videos I mention a lot is about fragrances that cut through the cold. And essentially what I mean by that is, what fragrances do I still notice when it's really cold outside, it's cold in the house? Which ones are the strongest scents that still just get you through that day? Because when it is cold, a little bit like the heat, fragrances sometimes don't project as much as you want. Obviously, on a hot day, they can just evaporate quickly. On a cold day, they maybe just don't kick off the skin, or obviously you've got them hidden under layers if you do put them on the skin. I obviously spray my tops, and I really want to see today what is the best sort of scent profile that cuts through the cold. So I'm going to pick 4 fragrances. I'll show you them in a second while I do my stretching, and yeah, then we'll go out for a run. We'll do 3 checkpoints as normal to see which one today, ultimately, is the strongest when it comes to getting through a cold run. Okay, so the running coat is on. I'm pretty wrapped up. I don't look like I'm really ready to go for a run, do I? But there we go. So 4 different fragrances today, all again around that winter type vibe. So even though they have a different scent profile, which I'm going to mention, they're all very much around that. Wear it at winter, wear it at night time, wear it when it's cold. First one is going to be Aramis. Aramis is very much a smoky leather type fragrance. Very old school, very recognisable scent. Certainly more suited to the winter time. Not suited to running, but we're going to use it today for our experiment. So that's that one sprayed. Then this one, coffee. Again, coffee is definitely quite a heavy scent. You can tell by the colour of this juice. It's definitely suited more to winter and wrapping up. And this one smells like such a realistic coffee. And I don't think you can beat having a coffee at this time of year. Lovely. I love that smell of coffee. Just feels right for the morning, this one actually. It's really nice. Again, not a running scent. But then neither is this one either. This one is a boozy scent, a sweet boozy scent. It's all about rum, Bentley for Men Intense. So I'm going to spray this one here. And the other thing I want to mention, these are kind of a similar price range as well, which is why I wanted to do them, around that £20 to £40 range. Lovely, sweet woods, but very much for me, sparkling rum, and it is delicious, that scent, so recognisable. And then Lush Sticky Dates, sweet caramel gourmand, which, let's be honest, a lot of fragrances are like that today, but this one's just number 1 for me. It's just so creamy. It's a sweet creamy caramel and it is delicious. So yeah, it's 4 very different scents. We've got the smoky leather, again very much winter, a coffee, so slightly gourmand but not quite as sweet as what you'd expect sometimes with fragrances, much more of a bitter dark coffee. We've got the boozy note, again much more suited to dressing up nighttime wear. It's got a lot of sweet woods in Bentley for Men Intense, and then Lush Sticky Dates. Absolutely delicious. But that fragrance world one, that coffee scent is super strong. Double espresso currently is the strongest before I leave, but I'm going to do my stretching, head outside, and then we'll do our 3 checkpoints on the run. Want to do about 9 miles. It's very icy outside, so fingers crossed, no accidents today, no more ripped coats or anything like that. And yeah, we'll do 3 checkpoints as we go along. So yeah, see you out there. I must admit, I can't wait till sort of 10:15 when I'm home tonight, because I've then got 12 days off and I've got so many exciting things planned. I cannot wait, but I must remember to relax. But there will be plenty of fragrance videos as well. So anyway, it's just gone about 7:20. It is time to smell the 4 fragrances. So Aramis, Double Espresso, Bentley for Men Intense, Sticky Dates. Okay, right, before I stop choking on them, they are quite strong. All 4 I can smell, which you'd expect at this stage anyway, because, you know, these are fragrances that are meant to cut through the cold. But there's 2 that are definitely the strongest, and it's Double Espresso and it's Bentley for Men Intense. Now, I think the reason for that is because Aramis and Sticky Dates have a slightly stronger atomizer. They're still a little bit wet on my coat. They haven't really sunk into the coat yet, so they're kind of just sat on the top. I think in a bit they will smell a bit stronger. But when I'm thinking of what I'm doing now, I'm outside, and again, I think as much as we say about cutting through the cold, we'd kind of talk about which one's the strongest, aren't we, really, today? I think you've also got to remember what you like, because, you know, I'm going to pick an overall winner today as the best fragrance, but if you have one that is really strong, it cuts through the cold better than the other, but you don't like the smell, then to me that's not really a winning fragrance. So I think we've got to consider that. And for me, being outside at the moment, the one I'm really enjoying is double espresso. Look, it's quite strong, it can be quite aggressive, that one, if you're inside, because it's such a heavy coffee note. And it's such a realistic coffee note, to the point that you just said, it almost just feels like you've just drowned yourself in coffee. You just tipped it over your head. And I'd probably say the other one that's most suited to being more outside is Aramis again, because these old school fragrances are a little bit more divisive, a little bit more aggressive. And I think for that reason they can be something that I don't feel that comfortable wearing inside, particularly if you're in an office or whatever, because you never know how hot or cold that's going to get. Or, you know, if you're in a stressful situation, you might think, oh, this is just too much as well. So for me, those two fragrances, double espresso and Aramis, are the ones that I think are better suited to outdoors. And then on my right arm, I've obviously got Bentley for Men Intense and Lush Sticky Dates, which are much more sweeter type fragrances. Yes, boozy, but it's a nice sweet boozy one because of the notes and the resins in it, and obviously Sticky Dates, a strong caramel one. So I think those ones are going to do better inside in general as well. But so far, on checkpoint 1, I have to say double espresso's winning. 1, just because it's more suited to outdoors, and 2, because it is just the strongest. And it was the strongest when I left the house. So there'll be another update in about 3 miles' time. It isn't much warmer, so it's time to do an update. It's nearly 8 o'clock, I'm about halfway through my run. So how do the fragrances smell? Well, Sticky Dates is definitely getting a little bit stronger, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I thought Aramis was going to be the strongest. Out of the 4, it's the weakest at the minute, and the strongest still is double espresso. Now, when I say cut through the cold, I haven't really noticed any of them, particularly while I'm on the move. But obviously, I've sprayed them on my arms. Sometimes with the swinging motion, obviously you can pick it up a bit more, but normally under your chest is where you get it the most. But in terms of the one I'm enjoying the most, I mean, Sticky Dates I find the most comforting. If I'm doing a workout, I still think if I'm going for something that I want to cut through the cold, go for something a bit sweeter. I find that a lot more pleasurable. And again, where I'm starting to get out of breath, as you can tell, that's the one where I think if I had to sort of have a fragrance that smells to keep me just sort of distracted, a nice sort of feeling, that's the one I want to be smelling. But again, if I'm outside this morning just walking or just out casually, I think the one I'd like the most is Bentley for Men Intense. Again, I really like the sweeter fragrances. For me, sweeter fragrances in cold weather are just much more cosy, much more comforting. And even though they're not as strong as double espresso, which is still the strongest, I just really enjoy the sweetness. So for me, when I'm talking about cutting through the cold, I think the sweetness still wins for me. But in terms of performance, I cannot argue the one that is cutting through the cold the most is double espresso. But it is super heavy, it's super heavy. And Aramis for me, but it just smells really dated. I do like smoky leather type scents, but it comes down to personal preference. If you're an older gentleman, maybe that would be more suited to you. But I've said this, and it's a controversial feeling, I really like Aramis on a warmer summer evening. Not really warm, about 18, 19 Celsius. 3 or 4 sprays of it, honestly, it's not as bad as you think. But if we're talking about cutting through the cold so far, double espresso is still on top. It's still the strongest. It's just not maybe as pleasant as a sweeter, cosier fragrance for me. Okay, then last checkpoint. I'm getting worn out, as you can tell. So, Aramis, I can smell that one a bit more now. It's finally coming through a bit. It's probably because I've blown my nose. Double espresso, it's still super strong. Bentley for Men Intense is easing off a little bit, but it's still there. And Sticky Dates, it's definitely there, and it's not quite as caramel now, it's become more vanillic. And I'll be honest with you, again, if I had to sort of lean towards one to kind of like get me through this last stage, it's definitely Sticky Dates. It's definitely the one
you feel certainly in terms of like running and stuff, the most suited to sort of just getting to the end. It's the one that's the most cosy. I find with exercise in general, aggressive scents are not as fun. Refreshing scents, great. Citrus scents, minty scents, peppermint in particular, really uplifting. But I really like those sweet scents. I know that's a contradiction when you look at workout fragrances. We tend to think of blue, aquatic type scents. But honestly, I really like a sweet scent. And even though it's not as strong as Double Espresso, it's probably the third strongest to me. Maybe it wasn't sent in the right place on my coat, but the Aramis is coming through. That sort of green, piney nuance is coming through. But it's definitely Sticky Dates I'm reaching for, and I just wish I put a bit more of that one on, because it certainly is one that can cut through the cold. But when we get back, we'll do one more indoor test, and I'll give my overall thoughts.
Okay then, so run done. My hat, honestly, when my hair is so long at the minute, it's just pushing my hat off. So yeah, I do apologise, it's all in sort of weird angles today. So let's smell the 4 fragrances and I'll give my overall thoughts. Aramis, it's there. I can still detect it, but it certainly isn't as strong as I thought it was going to be. Double Espresso. Bentley for Men Intense. And Lush Sticky Dates, again, not as strong as I thought. So the fragrances that I thought would really project today, probably Aramis and Sticky Dates, would have been my top 2. Haven't done so. Now that might just be, again, as I said, it's a coat that's, you can tell by the material, it didn't sink in the same way. They are fragrances, though, that with my own experience do cut through the cold. They just haven't maybe done so as well today for whatever reason. Double Espresso has been the strongest, no doubt. There was one fragrance I actually noticed on my run that, I wasn't actually reaching for it doing this. And it was this one. It was Bentley for Men Intense. The only one I noticed during my workout. And look, it's not a workout fragrance. I think really what the overall thing is today, if you want a fragrance to cut through the cold, you've got to go what works for you. You've got to go for what you actually like. Obviously, when you're doing fitness and stuff, it's probably not that important. And when we're talking about cutting through the cold, you're probably thinking more importantly about what gets you through the day. These 4 fragrances that I've mentioned will get you through the day. So that's the first thing I want to say. I think all 4 fragrances are fantastic. If you want one that's a little bit more for you, a little bit more cozy, a bit more relaxing, go for this one. Go for Lush Sticky Dates, because it's the one that's the least serious. You can dress it up, dress it down, and it's just, I think it's quite seductive. Again, it's more of those modern compliment-getting type scents because of the caramel, the vanilla, the benzoin. It's all that sort of thing that just is so Moorish, and I just think it'll work for a lot of people. But if you want to dress up, you want to be more gentlemanly, say you want something to cut through the cold for a night out, Aramis will do that for formal occasions, absolutely fine. Bentley for Men Intense, date night, job interviews. I think it's a great phrase. Office scent on a cold day, it works really well. But they're both a little bit more serious, and I think that's great. A bit more grown up, older gentleman, and again, just a step up, probably in quality, if I'm being honest. I love Lush Sticky Date, but it hasn't got the quality of those 2 fragrances. And then if you want something a bit different, a bit more fascinating, a bit more confusing, because it confuses me in terms of, is this really a fragrance? Go for Fragrance World Double Espresso. If you love coffee, that's your scent. And that's one way you can wear it in different situations, but I don't think it's perfect for any situation. I think it's one that you've just got to either like or not like. You can dress it up, dress it down, but I wouldn't pick it over the other ones just because I don't think it's as good as that. I don't think it's the number one in any situation, but maybe in its own weird way, that makes it pretty versatile. So yes, do I think they all cut through the cold? Yes. Do I think they're running scents? No. And I think it's personal preference. I'm not going to say there's an overall winner today, but if we had to have one that's a real winner in terms of its strength, Fragrance World Double Espresso, definitely recommend it. One to check out, more because it fascinates me than anything. It's a fascinating scent, very, very interesting. It just blows your mind in terms of what you think of fragrance. It confuses your mind much more than the other 3. And also what I like, people don't really know that one. So I really recommend it. Look on eBay. Don't go on the Tino because the price is vary between £20 and £60. Try and get it for £25. I think if you do, you'll be very happy with it. But thank you very much for watching today. Better get on with my mates, get on with my weights, and then I've got to get ready for work. So I'll catch you later.